Dead cat strategy. Also known as wagging the dog, this tactic involves changing the conversation abruptly by doing or saying something too outrageous to ignore. Whether it's by making up ludicrous statistics or launching military interventions to distract from personal scandals, the goal is to dominate the media narrative and divert the public's attention from damaging issues. Fake news presents sensationalized false information as factual reporting. During President James Garfield's 1880 campaign, newspapers reported he'd written a letter, later found to be forged, saying he supported unlimited Chinese immigration, a controversial topic at the time. Today, fake news spreads so quickly that even experts struggle to identify it in real time. Push polls. Push polls are surveys designed not to gather honest opinions, but to sway voters with misleading or inflammatory questions. For example, during the 2000 South Carolina primary, a push poll asked voters if they would support John McCain if they knew he had fathered an illegitimate black child, spreading false information to damage his campaign. Spoiler candidates are introduced into a race to intentionally split the vote of an opponent. While these candidates are often recruited because they appeal ideologically to your opponent's potential voters, one of the most memorable examples involved a different tactic. When John F. Kennedy first ran for Congress, his father purportedly recruited a janitor with the same name as his son's opponent, creating confusion by putting two Joe Russos on the ballot. Phone banking scams. Deceptive calls aim to sway elections by spreading misinformation. An example that later led to a criminal conviction occurred in the 2010 Maryland gubernatorial race, when robocalls falsely told Democratic voters that their candidate had already won, so they didn't need to vote. Troll farms are coordinated groups that spread misinformation and propaganda online to influence public opinion. During the 2016 US presidential election, Russia's Internet Research Agency created thousands of fake social media accounts to post divisive and misleading content. This heightened political polarization in the United States. Character assassination. Character assassination involves spreading false or misleading information to damage an opponent's reputation, often targeting a perceived strength. Also known as smear campaigns or swift voting, the latter term comes from the 2004 presidential campaign. John Kerry's war record, a major strength, was attacked by a group of veterans. Though later discredited, the attacks were an example of how effective this tactic can be at spreading doubt and harming public image.
Oh no!
Astroturfing. When private citizens band together for a cause they believe in, it's called grassroots support. But when political campaigns fake that support through tactics like shadowy groups, sock puppet accounts, or paid actors, it's called astroturfing. A famous example, the Brooks Brothers riot, occurred during the 2000 Florida recount, when apparent ordinary citizens protested to disrupt the process, but it turned out that many of the protesters were actually Republican operatives. Voter suppression and intimidation. These strategies are designed to reduce voter turnout, often targeting specific demographics. For instance, during the 2020 US presidential election, conservative activists were convicted of telecommunications fraud for robocalls that targeted black voters, falsely warning that voting by mail could expose them to arrest or debt collection. Digital hacking. Digital hacking involves unauthorized access to computer systems to steal or manipulate information. During the 2016 US presidential election, Russian hackers breached the servers for both the Democratic and Republican national committees, choosing to leak emails that damage the Democrats' public image. While it's impossible to measure directly, these types of attacks can potentially have real impact, particularly in close races. Ballot stuffing. The term conjures images of classic election fraud. It's the illegal act of submitting multiple ballots to skew election results. Though rare and often confused with benign errors, it can sway elections. In LBJ's first Senate primary win, a late, unexpected discovery of 202 extra votes tipped the scales in his favor. More recently, in a 2023 Connecticut mayor race, surveillance footage of multiple absentee ballots being deposited led to a court-ordered redo of the entire primary. Dog whistle. This tactic uses coded language that appears neutral but carries a specific message that only a targeted subgroup can hear. During the 1960s, politicians used terms like states' rights to appeal to segregationists without overtly opposing civil rights. In 2012, Obama campaign officials describing Mitt Romney as weird and not one of us was seen by some as subtly invoking Romney's Mormon faith. Timed leaks. Strategically withholding damaging information and releasing it at pivotal times, timed leaks can be effective in influencing campaigns. October surprises may be the most notorious. The weekend before the 2000 election, for instance, reports leaked of then Governor Bush's DUI arrest from the 1970s. Memes and viral content. Memes are a big and often positive part of internet culture, but they can be hijacked in nefarious ways. By oversimplifying or distorting issues, provocative and admittedly often funny memes can spread rapidly, steering steering public discourse and becoming a shorthand secret language that enforces group identity. Algorithmic manipulation. We live in an age of algorithms, which is why you should like, subscribe, and comment, thank you very much. And campaigns manipulate those algorithms on social media and search engines to strategically boost the visibility of certain content. In 2003, columnist Stan Savage's campaign to redefine a Republican senator's last name as a not safe for work term led to embarrassing search results for the GOP player. Psychographic profiling. By analyzing vast amounts of data about people's personalities, interests, and behaviors, sometimes harvested without the person knowing about it, it's possible to craft political messages specifically designed to manipulate an individual's psychological profile. Perhaps the most notorious example occurred in 2016, when Cambridge Analytica used Facebook data gathered under false pretenses to create ads in favor of GOP candidates. Campaign spying. This tactic involves using underhanded methods to gain insight into your opponent's plans via social engineering or simple brute force burglary. The Watergate scandal, of course, may be the most famous example. Primary chaos. Primary chaos is a cunning political tactic where voters deliberately disrupt the opposing party's primary. The strategy? Vote for the weaker candidate to sabotage the party's chances in the general election. In the 2008 Democratic primaries, encouraged by radio host Rush Limbaugh, Republican voters cast their ballots for Hillary Clinton, not to support her, but to extend the contest and weaken Barack Obama for the upcoming general election. Whisper campaigns. Whisper campaigns spread false or misleading rumors about opponents through informal channels. While modern methods include chain emails and social media posts, whisper campaigns are nothing new. In 1828, Andrew Jackson supporters falsely claimed something fairly serious about his opponent, John Quincy Adams. They said he was dead. Fearmongering. Fearmongering is a tactic that spreads anxiety and influences voter behavior by exaggerating potential threats, such as foreign attacks, economic devastation, or changes to social programs. After losing the 1996 election to Bill Clinton, Bob Dole asked Clinton why he had falsely claimed Dole would eliminate Medicare. Clinton replied, "You gotta do what you gotta do." Gerrymandering. Gerrymandering involves manipulating electoral district boundaries to favor a particular party, ensuring an unfair political advantage for the party in control. Vote buying. This isn't about making promises of future economic programs, but about literally saying, here's a bribe, vote for me. In parts of 19th century America, voters were often openly plied with cash, gifts, and sometimes alcohol, with some needing to be physically carried to the polls to cast their vote. Media manipulation. Manipulated and selectively edited media are as old as media itself, but AI has taken deception to a new level. In the recent national elections in India, voters were bombarded with millions of deepfakes of politicians doing and saying things that never actually happened. Debate cheats. Debate cheating involves unfair tactics to gain an advantage, such as obtaining questions in advance. In the 2016 Democratic primary, a CNN contributor provided Hillary Clinton with debate questions ahead of time, contributing to a sense that the political system was rigged. I'm sorry that this video took longer than usual. A project that my wife and I had been working on together decided to make an early debut. Everyone's doing great. Very tired, but great. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos that feed your curiosity about our fascinating world. Bye.